Welcome. Let me break down the goals as I saw them because I noticed there were some intriguing plays that are worth mentioning. A lot was made of the first goal. However, not enough can be said for the build-up. Notwithstanding, we actually took 30 minutes to score a goal and offered them way more opportunities than we had. In my concluding paragraphs or slide, I will discuss how I thought statistically they were bound to win the game, given they had possession in our third probably three times as many times as we did, or three times more. All right, let's get to it. Goal number one. Goal number one, the build up. In the build up to
What could
the
we say?
goal for Newcastle, our first goal, we had effectively been creating few chances on the left side. However, what you see is it took a little extra effort. By the time Lewis Hall gets involved, the ball progresses and Hall proceeds to create some attacking threat and with numbers, clear the passing lane. So we all know what happened. It was a great result. By this point, though, um, Hall had dispossessed their defender. And I can't say enough about O'Brien. O'Brien was wonderful in this game. He might have been man of the match, in my opinion. He was winning balls in the air. He was keeping Gordon at bay. Gordon was falling on the ground a lot, and even Tenali and Gordon weren't enough on that play. It was Tenali, Gordon, and Hall. I really think that was pivotal. Hall's of aggression and strength to counter O'Brien, despite being a little shorter. It just means your force, your strength, has to equal that opponent. So Gordon was not really looking good enough to stay in the game, in my opinion, and I think we did some for him. But that's not the point. The point, it was really, really difficult to play against that side, and we still scored. Note Everton's position, were almost entirely, they were entirely in our half of the field. It wasn't just I think it started with the pressure from Dan Burn by Beto. Uh, Maybe concerning is the right word, but think about it. The ball had to go be played in an awkward place for our keeper. His clearance led right to another header over Gordon from O'Brien. Just kept the momentum, keeping us off balance, to such an extent we didn't even rush to the goalie to help out our goalie after he misplayed it. But look, they were hungrier. That was really amazing. I really enjoyed that.
So at times yesterday's game was out of reach. At times the game seemed in reach. This relative imbalance is problematic for me as a fan. I know that at times in the game our team will be competitive, but there will be lapses of judgment like those I saw yesterday that reflect poor emotional control and perhaps something that goes deeper. Perhaps there is some animosity, some tension, arguments going on behind the scenes. Those are uncharacteristic problems of teams under Eddie Howe. I would say Eddie Howe's known as a man manager. I think his approach is probably correct. I think overall, uh, without getting ahead of myself, if Piff goes and makes a change, it's gonna be politically correct. It's gonna be by mutual consent. But it's because Eddie is dealing with things that go beyond the normal. And unfortunately, my thoughts are he needs another assistant coach or two to help with man management. I know at times that it was either Aston Villa, West Ham, whoever it was, hired John Terry as a defensive coach. Our focus when it's on defense has to be entirely on defense. Yesterday, in the first half, I noticed that Everton had the ball in our final third about three times as many times as we did. So even though the possession seemed to be quite even by the 20th minute, I noticed that the time in the final third was off balance. There were times that we had it in our half or in the middle of the field, and maybe a bit more than they did, but they had consistent more pressure on us. By the 20th minute, when they had scored, they really deserved it. I would stress that we perhaps could have done better, and we could have perhaps had a man on the, back post. I think if we had a man on the back post, that goal wouldn't have happened. Uh, and again, Beto was fantastic. O'Brien was fantastic. Those two players were standouts. They had the better team. They had the better players. The best players on the field were Everton's. We had Hall, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.